Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa Podcast on the BetRivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. This is kind of a maiden voyage for us, our first live program on the Mike Francesa channel on the BetRivers Network on YouTube. So you got that? YouTube, BetRivers Network, Mike Francesa channel, and we are going to do these periodically over the summer, and then we will do this very regularly, okay, starting in the fall. Once football starts, once we get back into the daily grind, and we get everything going, after July and August slow down, as we always know they do. But once September comes, we will be doing a lot of it, so look for it. Again, on the Mike Francesa channel, on the BetRivers Network, on YouTube. Now, we begin with a little football because it isn't easy to make news in the NFL in June. I mean, the NFL is usually very quiet in June, and everybody is looking towards their vacations. This is the one time that before training camps begin that the NFL, after minicamps, really slows down. And guys finally get a chance to get what is really the only vacation they get in an entire year, where they get their 5 or 6 weeks where they can just take it easy. That time is coming. But, of course, Aaron Rodgers can make news anytime, and he did again yesterday because he caused as much of a stir as you can cause during minicamp by his inexcused, that's the word, inexcused absence from Jet minicamp. Now, the story goes like this, and with the Jets, there's always a story, that Rodgers told the head coach that he would not be attending minicamp. The head coach knew this. He still decided to let everybody find out yesterday and to classify it as an inexcused absence. He said that it was a very important issue that Rodgers had to take care of. We do not have that issue clarified. We don't know why he is away. We don't know why he is not here. But what we do know is that his selfish action, and that's all it is, because whatever he did, unless it is something health-related, and we've been told it's not, he's healthy, it is not any bad situation. Nothing happened that needs his immediate attention. This was him taking care of another appearance of some kind or event of some kind. We do not know exactly why, but all he has done again is make the Jets, from ownership through especially the head coach, right down to the last man on the ladder, look bad. He continues to cast a shadow over this whole enterprise. Okay, this idea of him coming in here, turning around this franchise, leading them to the promised land, which is the playoffs, and then well into the playoffs. That this all-time great player, now, I don't care what stupid things he says, and he says plenty of stupid things, and I don't care what selfish action he partakes in, none of it can take away from the fact that this is one of the most talented, if not the most talented player to ever play the position. He has that kind of ability. Now, I don't know if he can stay upright anymore. I was speaking with a football person a couple days ago, and the reason I won't name them is because their feeling was he will not stay healthy for another year. I disagreed. I thought he can stay healthy behind this offensive line. I think the Jets did what we asked them to do. They went out and rebuilt the offensive line and did it with premium picks, taking that Penn State player in the first round, and by going out and getting the veterans they needed, especially a premier left tackle who is a Hall of Fame caliber player when he's healthy. He isn't always healthy, but last year he played over 900 snaps and was the best pass blocking offensive linemen in the league last year. Do you know what an upgrade that is for the Jets on that offensive line? Night and day. That's how big it is. So I look at this Jet team. I look at a defense that's good, and I know Hassan Reddick held out yesterday. That's normal business, okay? He's holding out for a contract. That goes on everywhere, every day in the NFL, so that's not a big deal. He will be there, and he will be compensated. That'll be over with. Fine. He's a good addition to the team. They have a big-time defense. They have skilled players. They have a tremendous talented running back. They are ready to explode offensively. They just have to keep Rodgers upright. But they somehow got to keep him on the right path, which is not an easy thing to do. He's all over the place. One day he's, the vice president on the independent ticket. The next day he's this. The next day he's making some stupid comments about something he knows nothing about. I don't know what goes on in his head. I don't even want to know what something goes on in his head. I just want him to come here and play quarterback. Just do it for a single season. Let's see how it works out. Where you put your heart and your soul and your mind and what's left of your body into that job. And forget all the extracurricular activity that is part of your life. Put it away for a year. Forget all the interviews every week. Forget what's going on with vaccines. Forget what's going on in the political world. Forget all that and just be a quarterback for one damn year. That's all. Just go back and be a quarterback here for 1 year. And listen, Sal is probably a project that is not salvageable at the head coaching position, okay? He's a bad head coach. Bottom line, he's a bad head coach. He's a bad leader. But put that aside and try to make this guy look good for a year. Don't embarrass him as you did yesterday and embarrass the franchise and cause this franchise so much pain, because any move in the wrong direction that Aaron Rodgers makes rocks the Jets and now rocks the city. Aaron Rodgers is like a magnet now. Every breath, every whisper, every syllable makes news. He doesn't even have to do anything. He doesn't even have to make one of his more ludicrous comments to make news. He can make news anytime. But what he did yesterday just set them back again, because it shows that he has zero respect for this organization and this head coach. Zero. You don't do this to your head coach. Not when you have a guy who should have been fired, who wasn't fired because you didn't want him fired. So he got another year. The team isn't the problem. He's the problem. He somehow feels that he can part-time this. I can do that job. I can get that done. But I also want to take care of the other things that are now part of my wonderful life. Whether I want to go on Jeopardy, or I want to go see RFK Jr., or I want to make some stupid comments about vaccines, or I want to make some crazy comments about something that happened in the news. You know what? This is his life. Fine. Enjoy it. I don't care one bit of it. The only thing I care about is you didn't show up where you're supposed to be yesterday. Otherwise, I could care less what you think about anything. But he sets back a coach who needs all the help he can get. All the help he can get. He is still here because of Rodgers. And what does Rodgers do? He makes him look bad right from the get-go. The first stamp that they're going to put on this season, not to come out of minicamp and say, oh, you know what? We're guns blazing. He's healthy. The offensive line looks good. We are going to be a machine. Instead of that, it's he's not here for no reason. Oh, he told me he wasn't coming, which you obviously accepted. I'm not angry. The heck you're not angry. Nonsense you're not angry. You better be angry because he should be here. Is it dire that he's here for his preparation? No. What's dire is that he has to send a message. He talked about how dysfunctional his team was, and then he makes it more dysfunctional by turning this into a screaming headline. This self-indulgent nonsense has got to stop, or this is going to just go down as one of the great mistakes and busts of all time. Listen, there's no disputing his ability, his accuracy, his presence in the pocket. He is as good or better at the position than anybody I've ever seen. I can't say I've ever seen a better quarterback when he's at his best. He's that good. But he can also be that big a jerk. And what he did here, and I don't know where he is. I really don't care where he is. But he's not where he should be. And not where his team, get it? Team. The one he's supposed to lead. He's not here. He could have come here and not even put a helmet on, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. He just did it in a way where he embarrassed the franchise again and showed complete disrespect and disdain for his head coach. I would have said to him, listen, I'm not only fighting for my life here, I'm ready, willing, and able to lead this team to where it should go. But I can't do that without you here, which means you need to be here. You not showing up for no good reason, because if he had a really good reason, they would have told you what it was. He had some self-indulgent reason. It is just another setback in a series of setbacks, and they all talk about all the things this franchise does wrong. You know, we have to get this out of the locker room. We have to get this. You know what you need to do? You need to act like you care. And your best player, your biggest player, your most important player, your leader, which is what the quarterback is supposed to be, he's got to buy in. And him not being here doesn't send that message that he buys into any of it. That he is in any way committed to what has to go on here. Because they have plenty of work to do. Because they're trying to do something that's very difficult to do. Turn a losing franchise into a winner. And he's not a kid anymore. Those legs only have so much life in them. He's coming off a year's injury. He missed an entire season. But he needed to be there, and he should have known that. He has to know that, because his absence speaks volumes and sends the wrong message. That's what he has to understand, and obviously he either doesn't or doesn't care. This is a bad shot to a coach who, let's be honest, is not on stable ground. If this falls apart this year, he's gone. If he doesn't make the playoffs, he's gone. Even with an owner who doesn't know what the hell he's doing, which we know is the case, he still will make that move. Because it should have been made last year, and he knows it. But he gave the coach, the quarterback, what he wanted, stability. He gave him his guys. And that included the head coach, except what does he do? He treats his guy like garbage yesterday. And shows complete disrespect for the franchise and the coach. Wrong message. Big mistake. Get it together. This can be a terrific year. I believe that. But it can't if Rodgers' head is in the wrong place. And right now, I don't know where it is, but it's not here. Game 3 tonight. Do we have a series? We find out tonight. I don't know if Porzingis is playing or not. He clearly got injured. They didn't say whether he would play or not tonight. They did say he would try, so I guess it's a game-time decision. His status is enormous. I told you before the series started, there were two big factors. One was a healthy Porzingis was a matchup nightmare for the Mavericks. I told you with a healthy Porzingis, they win the series. But if he wasn't healthy and wasn't going to be there game after game, the Mavs had a chance. But they had to have a big series out of Irving, and they have not gotten even a little of that. If Holiday is going to outscore Irving by 10 points in games, the series is over. Irving's averaging 14 points in the first two games on 16 for 37 shooting. He hasn't made a three yet. He's 0 for 8. This is his last stand tonight. Either he shows up and puts his 25 to 30 points up on good shooting and scores with an efficiency and plays with a bravado in Dallas. And let's be honest, he's got to take that step tonight and do it in Dallas against the Celtics because he has to do it at least once in Boston or it's not going to happen for them. I understand the fans are giving him a rough time. I understand he doesn't feel comfortable there. He is going to have to overcome that or they can't win. They can't win without him. They don't have enough firepower. They can handle the Celtics from a defensive standpoint. The Celtics aren't that good. Yeah, they can make threes sometimes, but you know what? Both of their stars, Tatum and Brown, can have absolutely awful shooting nights, and Tatum has been in a shooting slump the entire playoffs. People keep making apologies for him and excuses for him. Oh, he got 12 rebounds. Oh, he filled up his whole box score. Yeah, he did because he couldn't make a shot. So talk about that. He's a scorer is what he is, and he couldn't make a shot. But Irving has to be there tonight and score 25 to 30 points and knock down some threes and be hard to handle. And then Luka can put up his 30, 10, and 10, which you know he's going to get. And then they need the role players to kick in. And I think Jones will, and I think enough of them will, and Washington will, and they'll come up with enough. And I think they'll win tonight. Because if they don't, there's not anything to watch. They can get back into the series here. But they can't do it without Irving. Now, if Porzingis is playing, it's harder. If he's not playing, it's easier. But it's tonight or nowhere for the Mavs. Either they win tonight or the NBA season is over. And the ratings have been terrible as everyone knew they would be. I'm interested. I've been watching the hockey, and, hey, we know the Panthers are really good. We saw that against the Rangers. Their best two-way player could be out in Game 3. We'll see. He's got maybe a concussion. We don't know yet. He's got some kind of head injury. So we'll see what happens with that. That'll be interesting to watch. Just see how Tim reacts to that. I mean, because they've been, handled pretty good. U.S. Open this week. Obviously, Scheffler, more Scotty Scheffler. And, he's so much better than everybody else right now. It's crazy. But how about Jon Rahm's year? He takes a bundle of money from Liv, and he seems like the most miserable guy in the world. Rahm was the second best player in the world, easily behind Scotty Scheffler. And on his game, he's as good as anybody. And he can't get out of his own way. And now he's out of the U.S. Open with some kind of foot injury. So he finished 45th in the Masters. He missed the cut in the PGA, and now he's not playing the U.S. Open. Nice year for Rahm. I understand he banked a fortune from Liv, but a lot of the Liv guys, when they come back here and play, don't play that well. Now, DeChambeau has played well, and Koepka played well once last year. But overall, these guys, they don't seem to play that well in these big tournaments when they come back. And they need these guys. These tournaments need these players. We miss these players when they're gone. You need Koepka. You need Rahm. You need Dustin Johnson. You need DeChambeau. Phil's too old to worry about anymore, but it seems like, does anybody even remember Phil? Phil now on the course. Phil went from being Arnold Palmer to being Lou Palmer. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. It's not even like the same personality anymore. You don't even notice him. Now, I understand he wasn't going to win many tournaments anymore anyway, but he's still Phil. What a loss that was. To have Tiger go away, Phil go away, and then have all these other stars go away. It's killing golf. And I love Scheffler. I like watching Scotty Scheffler. I don't think he's boring at all. I think he's a terrific player. He's obviously a good guy, but he's a terrific player. And he's on an incredible streak. He's already won 5 tournaments this year. And does anybody think he won't be right there? At the U.S. Open, he will be. You know he will be. He's that good. The Yankees have been on an incredible tear. 11-13, 22 out of 28. We know what Judge has done after the slow start. I mean, Judge's May and June have been insane. I mean, they've been as good as any 30, 40 game stretch we've ever seen. I mean, the guy in 100 at bats was hitting .413 with 17 homers and 38 RBIs and 34 runs scored. That's crazy. Crazy numbers. He had 9 homers in his last 50 at bats going into last night. But here's one thing. During that time, 22 out of 28, 11 out of 13, they didn't shake the Orioles at all. They didn't shake them a little. Yankees have 21 losses. The Orioles have 22. Orioles swept the Rays 4 straight. Orioles just keep winning and winning. And I'll tell you something. I've said this to you maybe a month ago. See, if you're a Yankee fan from my generation, from my time, the Orioles bother you. This whole Red Sox Yankee thing it's always been, this wonderful, passionate rivalry, but it's never been two teams, one team dominating the other, except for that awful 2004. The Red Sox have never really bothered the Yankees in any way. The Orioles used to embarrass the Yankees. When I was a kid, and they had Frank and Brooks and Boog and everyone else that made up the incredible pitching staff, the 420 game winners, Elrod Hendricks and Andy Etchebarren behind the plate, Davey Johnson at second base, Belanger at short, Buford in left, Paul Blair, brilliant center fielder who played so shallow but still caught every ball in center. I mean, they had Bumbry, then later Singleton, but they had so many players. And you go back to 69, 68, 67, 66 when Frank got there. They were dominant. And they used to embarrass the Yankees. And Frank Robinson loved to just stick it to the he did. He loved sticking it to the Yankees. And he did stick it to them all the time. All the time. So as a kid, I just came of age. I remember 64 very well, the last year of the dynasty. And then obviously things took a turn for the worse. Sixth place finish in 65, last place finish in 66. The last days of Mantle in 67 and 68. And then the new hopes, Mercer, Jerry Kenney at that time, Thurman Munson a year later, Bloomberg, the trade for Nettles, the trade for Chambliss, the building of the franchise, 76, and then et cetera. But those weak years between 64 and 76, there were so many days where the Orioles just beat the heck out of us. So I've always had a thing for the Orioles. And it's been a long time since we've had a Yankee-Oriole series in August or September that mattered. And you're going to have some this year. You're going to have some really big Yankee-Oriole series. That team's legit. They're good, and they're going to be good for a while. And the new ownership will probably be far more competitive and far more aggressive than the last ownership was at the end. So they're in good shape. And the Yankees during this really terrific hot streak, 22 or 28, have not shaken the Orioles at all, which tells you what's coming. A summer of Yankees-Orioles, which should be very, very interesting. Now, they're both going to the postseason, but there's big advantages to winning the division, as you know. It's been set up that way now. So there's a reason to play to win that division. A lot of reasons to play to win that division. And if I remember right, they play the second to last series of the year. There'll be big ones before that, and maybe it goes all the way to then. But it's going to be fun to watch. It really is. It's been a long time coming for the Orioles. Been a lot of years at the bottom, but they're back. And they're back in a pretty big way. They have a really good team. And those two, the Yankees and the Orioles, are going to fight it out. I haven't seen this Paul Skeens pitch yet. He has burst on the scene like few pitchers before him. I mean, he really has become this must-see guy. He's 3-0. He's got a 2.43 ERA. He's pitched 33 innings. He struck out 46 batters. He averages 12-point-something strikeouts for 9 innings. Throws, everything at 100 miles an hour. Big kid. Big, overpowering pitcher. In the mold of a Strasburg, in the mold of a Clemens, that kind of guy. Big, overpowering pitcher. But, that's the kind of player that turns your franchise around. And he can do that to the Pirates. Because he adds a level of credibility that hasn't been there before. Where I saw this best illustrated, the Mets were the lovable clowns of Casey with the worst team he ever saw in 62. They were lovable, laughable clowns for years. And then they were just bad. And they were still bad. But then they brought along some young pitchers, live arms, led by, of course, Tom Seaver. And Tom Seaver didn't think laughing was funny. And he didn't think them being the butt of jokes was a good thing. And all of a sudden, he didn't have a sense of humor about any of that. And all of a sudden, you could see that now it wasn't about that anymore. Now it was about playing the game the right way. Now it was about winning games. Now it was about having big-time pitching and putting some defense behind it, and then some timely hitting, and guys coming behind them. First Seaver, then Kuzman, Gentry, Ryan, Matlack, etc. Power pitches in the Met farm system. I think you can, a player like that who goes to the mound for you every fifth day, even in this era where the starting pitcher has been relegated to almost secondary status. Hey, go out there and give me a good 5 1/3. I mean, that's basically now the game. Oh, as soon as we see that guy lead off, come around the third time, whoop, you're gone. No 3 times through the order for anybody. I don't care how good you are. No 3 times through the order. How many pitches do you see just rolling along, 5 1/3, 5 2/3? Boom, you're gone. Thank you. You did your job. Why can't their job be 8 innings? Why can't the guy go? You give him a chance to get through. Oh, the numbers just are, they aren't there. Just look at the numbers. That's what it comes down to. So now all you see is these 5-inning starters. One after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. All right, emails. Send your emails to Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. Now, as I said when I opened today, this is the first live telecast we've done on the Mike Francesa channel, on the BetRivers Network, on YouTube. This is the first one. This is our maiden voyage. We are going to add things as we head towards the football season. We will take your questions, take your emails, but we will eventually be ready as we put this forward and advance it, be able to take your phone calls. Now, we'll be doing these live maybe once a week in the summer. July and August, we don't work as much as we do the rest of the year. And then when we hit the floor running for the fall, after Labor Day, and we get ready for the football season, which I can't wait for. I really cannot wait for. I miss football. I can't wait for it to come back. We'll be doing it on a very regular basis. Live programs on the Mike Francesa channel, on the BetRivers Network, on YouTube. And we'll have guests like Danny Hurley the other day. And, I should mention Hurley because, my interviewing on the NBA thing was a bit of a coincidence. I did not know about the Laker thing when I spoke to him. I had been waiting for him to come back from vacation to do an interview with me. I'd been dying to talk to him since they won the second championship. I know Danny and the family a long time. I never thought he would go. I have to admit, Rick Pitino didn't either, because I sat with Rick on Saturday. He was sitting near me at the Belmont. And we chatted a bunch of times. Really, on Friday, he was there. I sat with him on Friday for a while, on Saturday. So we spent some time together, and he didn't think he would go either, because we both knew that his wife, who, and rightly so, has a lot to say. And, we were teasing the other time on the interview about, he and I both, about having wives that are the bosses of the house, which was the way it goes if you're smart and if you're lucky enough to have that kind of wife. She didn't want to go to the West Coast. And I don't think the Hurley family really wanted him to go to the West Coast. So I really thought there was very little chance. I never thought he would go to Kentucky, and I really never thought he'd go to L.A. And he told you on that interview that he wants to coach in the NBA, and I think he will. But he'll wait for a job in the East before he gets it. I don't know what job's going to open, nor do you. Okay? But he'll be very happy trying to win another championship at UConn as he waits for an NBA shot, and he'll get one. And he'll get one in the East, and he'll take it. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years, who knows how long. But he's back at UConn, and he could have been the coach at Kentucky. He could have been the coach at the Lakers. But here's the thing. It's not like he's getting paid, minimum wage at UConn. he's getting paid very well. So he's getting paid very well. He would have got paid exceedingly well at Kentucky. He would have got paid exceedingly well with the Lakers. But he's getting paid exceedingly well now. So it's not like he's not making a buck, because he is. He's getting paid handsomely. And it wasn't going to be a jump for the money. It was a jump to take a challenge more than anything else, because he can make the money anywhere. He could have made as much money at Kentucky as he would have in L.A., and he'll make plenty of money wherever he is. And right now he's still at UConn, which I expected. I would have been shocked if he went. I really would have. And Rick said the same thing to me on Friday. He said, I don't think he'll go. I said, either do I. All right, emails. Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. That's where you send them to the Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. When they're both retired, who will be the more popular Yankee with the fans, Jeter or Judge? Jeter. Because the Yankees were prolific winners during that time. And Jeter had a special place in the Yankees. Hey, but Jeter is no more popular than Mattingly, who is insanely popular, Bernie Williams, who is incredibly popular. But I say Jeter. Austin asked, the Yankees said they are not ready to give up on Rizzo, but should they? Listen, with the way they're set up now, with Cabrera playing the way he has this year, with the other players they have who can play third base, they can play LeMahieu at first. They can go into a platoon with Rizzo. Now, Rizzo hits lefties okay. Rizzo's not the same player. We know that, offensively or defensively. So he's still low, can help. It's not like he's going to be an automatic out by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't see this as a big issue, number one. I don't think it is a big issue. I think he's going to be fine. I'm not worried about playing him. I'm not worried about him. If LeMahieu plays first, I'm not worried about that. I think either way it's fine. I think he can turn into a platoon player here. Listen, he's had 250 at-bats. He's got 7 homers, 25 RBIs, 220. He's got a 611 OPS, which is poor. And considering that he's an 800-plus player for his career. He's hit 300 home runs. He's leveling off, and he's leveling off defensively too. So you platoon him the rest of the season. I understand he's been in a slump lately. I don't know how healthy he is. He's really cooled off. So let LeMahieu play half the time. And if LeMahieu gets hot and hits 330, well, you play LeMahieu every day. Play him every day. Let Rizzo get his job back. That's all. I'm not against making the guy hit to play. He's 6 for his last 59. He's 1 for his last 30. So he has cooled off dramatically this year. They have LeMahieu who could play first. I don't know that Stanton can play first, and I'm not in any mood to put Judge in the infield. So that doesn't interest me. Judge stays in the outfield. Stanton stays at DH, and let LeMahieu play first base when Rizzo's not playing first base. But I wouldn't get rid of Rizzo. I would keep him and let him play through this. And if he plays sparingly at times, that's okay too. It's not a bad thing. Ike says, I feel that Holmes is going to fail as the Yankee closer. I think I've caused a lot of that by making it a point since the start of the year. Listen, Holmes has got a good arm. But he isn't, to me, the classic closer. It's not like he's a bad closer. He's not. Now, I'm not trying to compare anybody to Rivera. So when you have that, you're spoiled. There's not going to be anybody like Rivera. Can Holmes close? He can. Do I think he's going to be a great closer in the postseason? I do not. Now, he says here, can you get Miller from the A's? No. Everybody would like to get Miller from the A's. If the A's give up on Miller, they're out of their minds. What do you want to give him from? You want to give him Dominguez? You're not giving him Dominguez. Want to give him Jones in a package? You're not doing that for a relief pitcher. But I tell you something, he would be unbelievable as a closer. But they're not trading him. I mean, he doesn't get a whole lot of saves with the A's because there's a lot of weeks where you don't get a lot of wins. But he just, his numbers. Let me see if his numbers have cooled down at all from what they were at the start of the year when they were just absolutely sizzling. Let me see if his numbers have stayed as good as teams have seen him. Let's look. We're talking, of course, about Mason Miller, the reliever for the A's. For the season, he's pitched 29 innings. He has a 0.84 whip, which is off the charts. He has struck out 55 batters in 29 innings. He has allowed how many hits? Let me see. He has allowed He has 12 saves and 13 tries. He's allowed 14 hits in 29 innings, which is exceptional. He has allowed 2 homers. He has 11 walks and 55 strikeouts. The 11 walks in 29 innings is good. It's not great. It's not bad. 3 of them were intentional, so he's only given up 8 walks, really. 55 strikeouts in 29 innings with a 0.84 whip. He's overpowering in every way. So, yeah, he has stayed as good as advertised. But I don't think anybody's getting their hands on him. All of baseball would be trying to get their hands on him. I mean, that goes without saying. He's that good. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Okay, I mean, nobody's going to let you get your hands on him. It's just not going to happen. And if you do, you're going to have to give up a lot to get him. I mean, a exceptional amount of inventory, including one of your big guys. And I don't think you want to do that. So I don't think there's a match to be made because they're not going to give them away. Let me find my emails that I have for the show. I lost my spot. I think I had one more to give you. Hold on. Let me find it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama? Well, there's the WNBA part and there's the Olympic part. The Olympic part, I don't think is... They could have invited her. She didn't have to make the team. There's nobody on the team younger than 26. A lot of the players have been veterans who have been on multiple Olympic teams. They're going to win the Olympics by, 1 million points anyway. We know that. So I thought she handled the Olympic stuff perfectly. She said, I'm going to root for them to win the gold medal. It gives me something to aspire to. And she told the coach they've awakened the monster by, overlooking her. All good stuff. Now, how she's been treated by the other teammates, not by her teammates, but by the rest of the league. She's been treated very badly. Okay, there's a tremendous amount of jealousy. The feeling is the other stars in the league, and I don't want to make it a racial issue because I don't think it's a racial issue. I think it's all the stars who were established probably feel, wait a second, why did she get the sneaker deals? Why did she get the... Hey, she was right place, right time, and she has appeal. Sorry if you don't, she does. She has star quality. Sorry if you don't, she does. I'm sorry she can fill the building and get people to watch on TV. You can't. Understand that right now. And if you don't understand that, you're going to have to digest it at some point. She is a megastar. She is TV ratings. She is going to sell girls sneakers like they're going out of style. The girls haven't had somebody like her that they can buy a sneaker from. They're always buying guys. Now they can buy a shoe that appeals to them, that is a woman star, a lady star. That's going to work. I think they're going to sell a lot of shoes. She has, for whatever reason, captured the imagination of the country. Why does somebody do that? Who knows? But she has a magnetism. She has a star quality that is real. It's tangible. She breaks TV records. Nobody watched their league. Now they're watching their league. Her games, her NCAA tournament playoff games outdrew the men. She is a star. Is she as good as she needs to be? No. Is she a rookie? Yes. Does she have to learn how to play in that league? Yes. Are they beating her up? Yes. Are they jealous? Completely. But understand that sometimes there's a player. The AFL went through this with Joe Namath. The NBA went through part of it. He wasn't that popular like he was filling buildings, but Pete Maravich received the same kind of treatment when he came to the team. He actually broke up a very good Atlanta Hawk team that had a black starting five. Joe Caldwell jumped to the Carolina Cougars, and the players on that team resented him badly. Walt Hazard, Lou Hudson, Bridges, Beatty, Caldwell left right away. They had a really good team. Richie Guerin coached them. They were a really good team. Pushed the Lakers to 7 games. They were tremendous, but they resented him. Yes, they resented him for being white. They also resented him because they didn't think he was that good. They thought he was a circus act. These girls who are more established, these ladies who are more established players, feel the same thing about Caitlin Clark. Tough. She's a star. She fills the building. You don't. She brings people to the sets. You don't. Sorry. If you did, you'd make what she did. So just like you want to tell us, look at the numbers. Here's how good she is. Look at those numbers. Here's what a big star she is. Those numbers are real. So ride the wave. Be smart enough to ride the wave rather than try to crush the new star. But right now, they're trying to crush the new star. We'll see you later.